Mr. President?
Because there are 3 countries that are there are fewer immigrants coming from Central America and from Mexico. This is a totally different circumstance. What's on my watch now is Venezuela, Cuba, and Nicaragua. And the ability to send them back to those states is not rational. You could send them back and have them, we're working with Mexico and other countries to see if we can stop the flow, but that's the difference.
We don't know what he was saying. That was President Biden on a word salad, attempting to defend this wide open border at the southern border as more than 2 million migrants have crossed illegally this fiscal year. In numbers just released by U.S. Customs and Border Protection, over 200,000 people were apprehended at the border just in the last month, with an untold more that got away. Upwards of 1 million gotaways, we are told, typically travel first to Tucson, Arizona, after crossing through Texas. Immigration has become one of the top issues in the Arizona governor's race. And in the latest poll, Republican Kari Lake has a nearly 5-point lead over Democrat challenger Katie Hobbs. And joining me right now on this Sunday morning is Kari Lake herself. Kari, it's good to see you. Thanks very much for being here.
Good morning, Maria. We are very concerned about the Godaway numbers. 1 million have come in since Joe Biden took office, and these are the most dangerous ones. We don't know what their background is. They could be terrorists, they could be murderous, and they're most likely hardcore criminals.
Well, obviously, they have their own intentions. They don't want to get apprehended, so they get away. Is it true that many of them go to Tucson? Are you seeing this in Arizona?
They go through the Tucson sector, which really is more than half of our state border. And I was just talking to the sheriff of Cochise County, Mark Daniels, and he told me 16,000 are coming through a month in that sector, the Tucson sector. Just last week, there were 2 of his vehicles damaged by smugglers who crashed into them trying to get away. And 350 people in Cochise County have been the victims of people passing in illegally, criminals coming in illegally. There have been 350 victims of crimes in Cochise County in 6 months alone. So it is impacting Arizonans every single day.
Well, I know that this is one of your top priorities to clean up the border should you win in November. I want to point out what Liz Cheney has said about you when speaking at this Texas Tribune conference yesterday. She says, I'm going to do everything I can to make sure Kari Lake is not elected. Your reaction?
That might be the biggest, best gift I've ever received. I mean, the people of Wyoming can't stand her. I'm pretty much sure that the people of Arizona don't like Liz Cheney. Here's the deal, Maria. The Republican Party, the new Republican Party, is the party of we the people. It is no longer the party of warmongers. And so Liz Cheney probably should change her voter registration. Turns out she really is a Democrat after all.
Well, let's talk about your agenda. She said it does include campaigning with the Democrats to make sure that you don't win. Tell me what your priorities are in terms of your own agenda. And then I want to get to the Dobbs ruling and your thoughts on abortion. I know we haven't heard from you on that subject, but go through your agenda.
Well, first and foremost, that border, day one, we're going to issue a declaration of invasion, call it what it is, and we're going to get troops on the ground and stop people from coming over, give reinforcements to our border sheriffs, and stop this madness. We just had the largest drug bust in the history of drug busts in Phoenix, Arizona this week, 1 million fentanyl pills. This is a poisoning of America. I don't even call them drug overdoses because one half a pill can kill you. They are trying to take down this country. All you have to do is look back in history at the opium wars and see that they brought down dynasties with drugs. And that's what they're attempting to do. We have to tackle our border. We will start that on day one. We're also going to start working on the workforce issues that we have by bringing vocational and trade skill training into our high schools in a bigger way so that after 10th grade, high school students can get some real training for the real jobs that are out there. These trade jobs will allow kids to make good money where they can actually support themselves. We're going to bring that into our schools. And we're also going to look at our long-term water issues. As Arizona grows, we have to look at ways to bring water into our state. And so we are laser focused on some of these big issues that really impact the people of Arizona.
Kari, an Arizona judge lifted that injunction on the enforcement of the 1973 law, leaving the state attorney general to prosecute abortion providers. Arizona has lifted the injunction, and now the Attorney General Brnovich touts a win for his office defending life. Your reaction?
I'm pro-life. I've never backed away from that, and never will I. I want to protect lives, and I want to help women. You know, we've got to make sure we are giving women the support they need. I'm all for health care for women. The Democrats have tried to politicize this issue in such a disturbing way. It was just about a week ago, my opponent tried to equate women who have miscarriages with abortions. And that is really alarming. And Stacey Abrams saying that the heartbeat is make-believe on an ultrasound. This is really sad where they're going with this. We want to help women. We want to make sure that the scary moments when you find out you're pregnant, and it can be scary, that we are there with them, providing assistance in any way possible. But my opponent is radical when it comes to abortion. She voted against a bill that would have provided life-saving treatment to a baby who survived abortion, opting instead to have that baby die on a cold medical tray. That is radical. And the media here refuses to ask her questions about her position on abortion. She is for abortion right up until the minute of birth and even afterwards. And
Wow.
to me, that is inhumane and immoral.
That is extraordinary. I know that you've been wanting to do a debate with her. She is refusing to debate you. Do you think you'll get a debate before the midterms?
No, I think she's doing the old basement Biden play, and she's hiding out and running from reporters. I'd love to talk about all these issues. We have major issues that are facing the people of Arizona and this state as we go forward. We're about ready to, I believe, move into a realm where we are one of the top states in the country. And there's a lot of issues. I look at this as a job interview, Maria. The debate is a job interview. The people of Arizona are the hiring managers, and I'm willing to sit down and be interviewed. She's not. We've actually taken the job interview on the road. We're doing 5 or 6 more stops where it's Ask Me Anything, and let's take this job interview on the road. And people are showing up because they do want to know where each of us stand on these issues. And I'm not going to shy away from them.
Well, it seems like finally the media is beginning to cover the border issues, which, of course, you've been talking about from day one, and we've been reporting on from day one. I've been to the border 5 times, and yet we see them upset because of migrants sent to places like Martha's Vineyard and elsewhere. I know that you have a thought on what to do with these illegal migrants coming in, and what about sending them to these blue cities? What are your thoughts?
You know, I'm not really for that, I'll be honest. However, it is making a great point. And sometimes you have to lay things out for these sanctuary cities of what we're really dealing with. They lost their minds over 50 illegals that were sent there, and we're dealing with thousands upon thousands every month. So I do think the point has been made. I'm not for moving people around further into the country. It makes it harder for us to move them back across the border. Yeah. I would ideally like to load up buses and send them back across the border. We can't take on 5 million illegal immigrants. And you know, if it's 5 million now, it's going to be another 5 million the next 2 years or more. We can't handle that.
Yeah. All right. We'll be watching. Thanks very much for being here this morning, Kari Lake. Good to see you.
Hey, it's Will Kane. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News channel on YouTube. It's the best way to get our latest interviews and highlights. And click to subscribe to the Will Kane podcast for full episodes right now.